I want to welcome them, both Tim Linderman and Jason Adams. Tim, will you have anything to say? Okay. Good deal. Said enough already, right? Good deal. Jason?
It's an honor. It really is to serve my city. So I hope to do the best. Hopefully we'll all move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited to fill my position, there's no doubt I am. I know will. I'd like to do one little business thing, real quick. Is I'd like to sign the employment contract of our city administrator. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our agenda. We ask that we get an explanation of the council administrator form of government from our city attorney, Ms. Sloan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recent election for the changes in the charter essentially formalized what was already going on here, and that is the existence of the city administrator, city clerk, and the council. The council's job essentially is to set the policy, and the job of the city administrator is to carry out that policy. Some small cities don't have a city administrator, and the mayor ends up bearing that brunt. But in this case, you have a city administrator, and they're kind of the operational side of getting things done. So if he doesn't get things done, then the council can let him know that.
Good. Appreciate that.
That's as complicated as it can be.
Any questions at the table, Mike?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So what is the effective date of the referendum questions that were approved? Is it immediate, or does it have to go to Tallahassee for anything?
Once the election results were certified, it is official at that point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the next thing, which is kind of exciting, is selection of a mayor pro temp that fills the duties of mayor whether he or she is absent. I want to kind of open that to the public, if there's any comments on that. Anybody? Okay, we'll move to the table. Close the public, move to the table. Any discussion? Anybody at the table?
I'm ready to make a motion, unless there's any more discussion.
Any discussion? Go ahead and make a motion.
So, I make the motion that Jerry Smith be nominated as the mayor pro tem.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Tammy, call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Linderman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
No.
Mr. Smith,
Yeah, sure.
Mayor Wolf.
Thank you, team. How's it going today, John? Thank you. I'll take it.
Next thing on the agenda is the appointment of a city council liaison for Mexico Beach CDC, city administrator.
Mayor and council, this is one of the things that we do whenever there's a change after an election. In the previous year, Adrian Welly was the CDC liaison. You have a letter in your packet from the CDC board, and well, it's from Kimberly Schilp in regards to their most recent board meeting, and they'd like to nominate Mr. Tim Linderman to be their liaison, but that needs to be confirmed by the city council.
Yeas or nays?
I need a motion.
Or a motion?
Second.
I make a motion we select Tim Linderman as the head of the CDC.
I'll second it.
Take the roll, please.
Okay, Mayor Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsey?
Yes.
You lucky right.
5-0. Congratulations. Next thing at this time is the 2024-25 committees assignments. I think as we look at those, some of them are up on the board. I believe that some of them are already filled. Jerry, I think you're on the,
I think it's me and you, but I'd also like to put Tim on there too, since he's can we do that? Can
That's right.
he be on the, board to go to the,
I don't think it's a problem, it's just a matter of us paying for the membership.
he is opening the veterans, I was just part-time, but I want to be there, so.
let's
You'd
just,
like to be there?
just real quick,
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
just real quick, let's see if we have, do we have any public conversation on the assignments? They're up on the screen. No comments written at the table then, and discussion at the table seems to want to add Tim Linderman to the Military Affairs Committee. I think that Ms. Hamilton, you're in the St. Andrews.
Correct.
You want to remain on that?
I was thinking about the Tyndall thing, but if that's a situation for Tim, then I guess I could stay with that. I was hoping to change.
Forest League of Cities. Any interest in that? I'll go ahead and cover that if that's okay.
I would like to be on the TPO board for,
That's a good group.
I think we can fit that, okay? Adams on that. Wolf on League of Cities. And Tim, Military Affairs.
So can I just say something? So Linda, if you really want to do that,
I do want to
that's
do
fine.
that. I want to do
And
that. And
I'll
you could-
trade
we
you
could
for
trade.
the SUR,
That'll
I'll
work
be
for me.
happy to do
You want
Okay,
to do
let's
this
do that.
second?
that. I'll do that, yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Great, good job.
Thank you,
Have a meeting on the 23rd.
Tim. Today? I guess I missed the first meeting.
Okay. Any questions on that, Tammy?
You got it.
You got it? Okay, we're going to move on to consideration of financial director job description. We'll go ahead and go to the public. Any comments on the job description? Could you put that up there, please? Any public comment on the job description? You're going to move to the table.
I'm going to use certain order. On the table.
Yeah, we can get it to start. Have any comment on it?
yeah, talked to Chris briefly. I'd like to get more breakdown. I know we had the clerk and, it was all under one, and we've divided that. We got Mary and now the clerk doing that, and the other groups, from what I hear, the other ladies and gentlemen in the office are doing their input. And I know we spent a lot with the car rigs and Ingram, and that's kind of where this is coming from. Definitely, if we can make it work, I think somebody in-house would be an asset. But I do like the oversight of having an accounting firm out. And I talked to him briefly that I guess the accounting firm is gonna be with us for a little while.
We're gonna try.
Longer to get the audits. We'll have them here to clean the audits up.
We had talked the last meeting about doing a little bit of overlap
Yeah.
if needed.
Obviously. But putting it out there, the money seems, like what, I know it was at the last meeting too, what talents are we gonna draw? We'll just have to start getting into it. But I do like the oversight of an accounting firm and, having them around, once we're all caught up.
Gary?
We got this in the money in the budget to, if we have to, I know it won't be to happen tomorrow, but to fix it to Amy, you think we got it in the
Yes, sir, money's available.
budget to hire, and
Linda?
I do have concerns because we do have the joint legislative accounting committee that's doing a state audit. We also have concerns about the audit for the annual audits for 22 and 23. There's so much going on. I don't know that we need to bring in a new person on board. I think I would prefer if we waited to hire that position in next year's budget rather than pull it out of this year's budget, if you're talking between 50 and 80,000. My other concern is the way the job description is written. I would like to eliminate experience may be substituted for minimum qualifications. I think in that position, we really need a CPA. And the annual salary for a CPA in Florida is $67,000. So I just think we need to wait until we can put it in next year's budget because of all that's going on right now.
Tim?
So, are we just talking about the job description?
Yes.
Or wasn't this already approved, or has this not been approved, this position?
The position has not been approved. We're
Okay.
talking about the job description.
All right, so there are two things.
If we put the job description out, we're gonna put it to, put it out for bid.
Okay. All right, so first off, there are two areas where it says supervision and direction of the city council. That's in the job summary and in the supervision received and exercise. I would recommend that we change to city administrator, not direct supervision of the city council. And I spoke to the Florida League of Cities rep with finance, and they told me that the majority of the cities, that's how they operate. Few operate with the clerk or the treasurer because they're the finance director, but I don't believe in our case that's how we're operating. And the one thing, I understand this is a job description, but the one thing I'd like to make clear, if we do this and it's all done, is there are several folks that are involved in the financial portion of our business. So I think the current
Org chart.
org chart has the finance director with the staff accountant. I assume that's Mary Harmon, but there are several people who have bits and pieces of this, and I'm thinking they don't go under direct supervision of the finance director, but we need to be clear what portion of their work is for the finance director so they understand that relationship, perhaps, Chris. And I'll leave that recommendation to you for my part.
So that's separate of the job description.
Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, those are the two key things I see. Changing city council to city administrator for the supervision.
Can you put that job description up there, please? Do you have it?
Yes, that's the second page.
Okay. On the first page, second sentence reads, work is performed under the primary supervision and direction of the city council. I agree to move it and change it to city administrator also. I believe if you're gonna give authority and duty, you need to give responsibility, and you have to have that responsibility. We have two people that report to the council. That's the city administrator and the city clerk. They're responsible for doing their jobs. And they have department heads who report to them. This would become a department head, so.
Yeah. I believe the city attorney reports directly to the council also in that organization chart, correct?
Correct. Okay, are there any motion to, okay it with with that change, or want to take into consideration anything else set at the table?
Did you allow a question?
Well, we already went through that, I'm sorry.
If we put it out, what'd you say?
We don't have, we're not putting it out for bid, we're just gonna put it out.
You're just advertising the position.
Advertising.
Yeah.
That'd be, but that'd be down the road, that'd be, this is April, May. June. We won't have any months left in the budget.
Well, let's concentrate about the job description, getting the job description.
I
out
agree
there.
with, I agree with that one, Jack.
Does that make sense, everybody?
I have a question.
Taking in your consideration of vote, if we even hire or not. Can we okay the job description? That's what we're here.
Can we eliminate on the job description, experience may be substituted for minimum qualifications? Can we eliminate that statement? If we hire a CPA, then they're accountable, they have something to lose. If there's mistakes that are made, they have more credibility. The salary range is, for the average in the state is 67,000, and our budget is between 50 and 80. I would like to see some, that we eliminate experience may be substituted, because then we could end up with a bookkeeper who may not be as responsible as a CPA would be.
Chris, taking that in consideration, does that tie your hands for candidates or what?
I think it's gonna tie the city's hands. I mean, a CPA is a CPA, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're experienced in governmental accounting. Governmental accounting and your regular accounting that Carr, Riggs and Ingram does on a day-to-day basis for their commercial clients, and it's totally different. And, I mean, if you've got somebody with 20 years of government experience who's not a CPA, doesn't have a degree, but they've got the 20 years experience, they're gonna be far and above better than a CPA would.
But we can make that decision when the bids come in. When people are applying for the job, we can make that decision. But I think we should say that we're looking for a CPA and eliminate the sentence that says experience may be substituted.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
It's fair to ask for it and then look at it when it comes in. Tim, did you have something?
No, I just want to be clear on what Linda was saying, so.
All
So
right.
should we go ahead and possibly eliminate that?
Well, I'd rather go with your latter one personally. I'd rather go with, go ahead and leave it in there and then take it into consideration after we get all the applications. If we get 6 applications with none of them being the CPA, we may have a little bit of problem.
Then, we can also extend the time of that, that bid as well, or we can, pass it on to the next budget. Because, it'd be nice to possibly, the next budget will be September, that's not that far down the line. We still have JLAC in here. We also are trying to come up with the state audits for 23 and 22. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I don't think introducing a new person into that pack is always such a good idea, that we should wait and put it in the next budget.
Everybody's heard what went on at the table. Take everything into consideration. We're looking at the job description. Do we want to move forward with the job description? Is there a motion to do that?
I make a motion that we approve the job description of the finance director.
And any changes?
Well, that one out with the report to the city administrator, to the city council.
Okay. Do we have a second?
A second.
Then take the roll, please.
Mr. Linderman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
No?
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Information about new elected officials, city administrator.
Number 6, the project list.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss that project? Look at that.
That's Chris. He
Sorry about that. There's a project list.
Mayor and council, in front of you is the project list. Since we did this list last week, I did talk to the engineering company today, and they gave me some updates on the projects that they're working on for us. Also, on the 7th Street bathrooms, we opened those bids yesterday. You'll see those at the May the 14th meeting. As far as the projects the engineering company is working on, that we've kind of been waiting on for a while, the 15th Street pedestrian bridge. The Geotech company is providing their final report. The survey is complete, and right now they're expecting to start on the actual engineering of the pedestrian bridge for 15th Street this week. I know that's been a high priority safety issue for the city, so that is moving forward. Secondly, the Moby mats, they're still waiting on the survey there. At our last meeting where we discussed the project list, we were waiting on the survey for all 3 projects. So far, this is the only one that's not had the survey taking place yet. And then the kayak launch, survey is complete. The engineers have started working on the drawings, and they're also waiting on the geotechnical report. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of changes. The Under the Palms part has been pretty much completed, except for the restrooms that we need to get in there at some point. And I mean, you can read the rest for yourself. I'm not really interested in going through all of them verbatim.
just at the table, any questions on any of them that are on that project update list?
The 15th Street, I just talked. I want my figure, but the 15th Street Bridge on it, and my bathroom.
On the bathrooms, when you said you opened the bids, like how many bids did we have?
We only received 2 bids in response to our RFQ, our RFP.
Were they open publicly or?
Yeah, we open all bids publicly.
Okay.
In fact, both of the companies that submitted proposals were there.
And what are the 2 companies that did?
Monolith was one, and
CNL,
What was the other?
CNL.
So, I don't have any questions, but I've talked to Chris about this, and I want to run this by you guys. I personally would like to see more detail on this, and here's what I'm suggesting. Under the project title, I'd like to see if it's Anchor Engineering, I'd like to see that, so I know who has the bubble in this besides the city administrator. If it's a FEMA project, and we put FEMA on there, or maybe if someone else is working it, if Atkins is included in it. I'd also like to see, where possible, a suspense or timeline. And I know there's a danger in this, especially for Chris and for us, because if we miss that suspense, then I think people want to know why. But they deserve to know why, and we can explain it, I believe. But on some of these, it says working. It doesn't tell me very much, and I don't know if the citizens would like to have more information also, but I'd really like to see, even if it's a WAG, a wild guess, to have something to look at and hold Chris accountable for the timing of these and knowing what's going on. The other thing I'd recommend is maybe by project, a priority, so that we can give guidance to like Anchor Engineering that of their projects, their 5 projects, number 1 is, say, the pedestrian bridge on 15th Street, or the pier, or whatever. But I think a lot of the things that they're doing, the surveys, it didn't matter what the priority was, probably. But there may be other projects, and I think they need to understand our intent and what our priority is. And that's just a recommendation, those things.
And I think they're fair requests. I mean, a wag on FEMA is kind of hard, you know, for them to give you a guess. A wag on something that we have control over is a lot easier. So maybe we'll be a little bit more understandable if on the 7th Street Bridge or 15th Street Bridge or the pier, maybe we're not gonna get that wag that close, but
Yeah.
on something we're working on, Chris, I think that's feasible, don't you?
yeah, absolutely.
I know, I don't want this to turn into a major production to keep it updated. I know Julie will hate my guts if that's the case, because I think she's the one who keeps it updated. But I just think more information, more details, suspenses, and a priority list is really what I'd like to see added to this.
Would you just give Chris those, I wrote down
I will.
engineering group or work
Mhm.
group, a wag of when it's gonna get done, and then same thing, follow the same line, timeline,
All right.
okay?
If I can ask the council too, there's a couple of things on here I'd like to get the council's opinion on as far as removing. One, obviously, is the purchase of the new dredge. We have that, it's been operating for a couple months now. I think it's safe to say that we can remove that from the project list. The marina boat slips, covered with lifts, that's not been discussed since I've been here. I know there's been some private citizens who have, one has installed a lift, another one has approached the city about installing a lift, but I don't know if, like I said, nothing has been discussed publicly or with me in the office as far as whether the city wants to pay out of our own pocket to do that. So if we're not gonna do it, you know, save space by removing that from the list. And then Parker Park right now, I think everything's been completed there that was projected. You know, as you can see there, I just put, we would plan on additional improvements in the next fiscal year. So,
Chris, from my side of it, I'm fine with that, go ahead and clean it up, take it off if it's not, if it's done or close to done. Council, you're okay with that?
Mhm.
Them cleaning
Let
up.
the readers, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, do it. Anything else on that list? Anybody? Information, elected officials.
Mayor and council, attached is several items of information. Normally, this would be given to new elected officials in the privacy of our office in City Hall. But with the way things have been kind of contentious over the last year, thought I'd put it on the agenda, give it to everybody publicly, make sure the citizens have the information. And that way, you know, any conversation that's held around that, the citizens would be privy to as well. Just looking at the list, public records, I know that's been a hot topic button. As elected officials, you have the availability of, you know, just like our citizens do to any public record at the city. So anything that you may want, you're more than welcome to have. We will provide copies of it to you. You can have everything except anything covered by the Privacy Act. We don't release Privacy Act information, including to elected officials. Anything else you have the ability to have. If you have citizens approach you wanting information, either they can come to City Hall and get it themselves, or if you want to retrieve that for them, then obviously you all can do that as well. Springbrook access, the past council had access to Springbrook read-only. If the new elected officials want access to Springbrook, get with me, we'll get you set up. If you want training on the system, then let me know, and we'll get you some training scheduled. It is a pretty comprehensive and detailed system, so it's not easy to go through and try to figure out on your own. But if you want training and you want access, just let me know, we'll get that set up for you. Internal controls, this was discussed at one of the previous meetings, and we provided it at that time. However, I'm a paper person. I prefer paper instead of electronic, so I wanted to provide that here to the elected officials in case you want to mark it up. I can email it to you electronically if you want an electronic version as well, if you don't, you know, already have it. But this is just to let the elected officials know the current internal controls of the city, how we operate, and the steps that we take to safeguard any kind of theft or prevent fraud. The FEMA projects and the revenues expenditures for those projects. I included this because with the recent election cycle, there was some candidates who came into the office and were stating that they were still hearing rumors out in public that, you know, there was FEMA money missing, people were stealing FEMA money. I wanted to provide this. I provided it during the campaign, but I also wanted to provide it here to the elected officials in case you run across that in your day-to-day operations out here in the city. This report from FEMA comes straight from the state website. It's not, you know, a document that's included at, you know, in anything we do at City Hall. The state maintains that. It's FDEM's website, the Florida Department of Emergency Management. So, you know, we don't have the ability to go in and tamper with that. We can't change the numbers. We can't alter the report. So this is just to try to clarify some of those issues and let everyone know that we know exactly how much money we received. We know exactly what project it was spent on and where it went. The bank accounts, it's a screenshot of the bank accounts from our bank Centennial. That shows all the money that the city currently has. As I put on your paperwork, a lot of that money is restricted, so even though the numbers look fairly large, it can only be used for certain items, you know, certain pots of that money. So, you know, we try to maintain our thriftiness, and we don't spend a whole lot of money, and our department heads need a pat on the back because they've been really well about monitoring the budget since I've been here, and we only spend money when we absolutely have to. We don't just go and frivolously spend the money here at the city. Current revenue versus expense reports. I've discussed this at some of the other meetings, but that shows each of the major funds, your general fund, as well as your enterprise funds. And that just shows the current revenues for this fiscal year as well as the expenditures for this fiscal year. Right now, everything looks good. The sanitation department is making money compared to last year when we lost money. But we haven't entered the busy time of the year yet, so all of that is subject to change, and obviously we'll be, you know, monitoring our revenue and expenditures as we move forward into the busy year. And then the last item is the rough fiscal year 2024-25 budget schedule. I wanted to provide this. There's no set dates on there. As we move closer to that time frame where we have to start scheduling meetings, to work on next year's budget, then we'll set some firm dates. I wanted to provide this to the city council so that you can look ahead into your calendars for any trips that you may have or, be planning on taking. And go ahead and let me know those now so that we can start working on some more definitive timeframes, more definitive dates. And, we can do it when all 5 of the elected officials are here and no one's gone out of town. And with that all being said, I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Please look for Jason, yourself, and Tim, so you guys have all this information, have questions, give it Chris.
Okay. Do that.
A lot of information.
Known tentative agenda items coming up for our next council meeting. Asked Chris to put a list together, and really this is maybe just a tickler. Not everything on this list is going to be, maybe not make the 14th, but it may make the 14th. What I'm encouraging all of the council people to do is look at that tentative list and ask questions of the city administrator, and if he needs to ask something of a developer or anybody else, that you do that, so that we come to the meeting prepared. We'll try to get as much information to you as early as possible. Again, it may be on the list, but it may not come up. It's obviously there's conversation within the city about it. Chris, anything to add to that?
No, I just would point out that the new items at the bottom of that list are things that haven't been discussed before, so I recommend that everybody come in and talk to me about those, about the need for those and why I'd like to move forward with those now to try to get those started before the new fiscal year, and then also where those funds will be coming from. And likewise, any of the elected officials, or not elected officials, but any of the public who want to come out and talk to me about it, why we need it, where the money's coming from, then I'm more than willing to talk to anybody about it. Everything we do is public record, public knowledge, and I'm more than happy to share with everybody.
And one more
Any
thing.
questions? Yes.
Yeah, on the contract awards for this next agenda, there's several items listed for debris removal. Have we already put the RFQ out for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Everything
so-
on that list has been advertised, and some of them have already been opened. Like the
So when you
rest.
say open publicly, who attends that? I mean, how can the public actually attend that when you open a contract?
Whenever we advertise any project, it has the suspense date for the bid submittals, as well as whenever they'll be open publicly. Anyone who wants to come to that, all they have to do is come to City Hall at that time that's specified when we open the bids, and they're more than welcome to attend.
And will the council be doing scoring sheets like we've done?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, we'll be contacting you, Ms.
Okay.
Lynn, and
So,
we'll just have to get it together. We'll be contacting you.
Okay.
Okay, Chris.
you said the 7th Street bids are in. Where are these, didn't ask you that, these other ones, they're supposed to be in before the 14th? I mean, which are the other ones here? When are they due in?
the legal services is the 29th. All the debris, I don't remember the exact dates, there's so many of them.
May 6th?
May 6th.
6, so it's just, I'll get with you, just as they come in.
On the due dates.
Yeah, I think. all
Your
of-
debris is in monitoring, disaster monitoring and disaster removal are May 6th.
And then the restrooms, what's the date on?
Yes, we opened those yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in there. You can look at those. And again, get with Chris the week that when you walk in there, ask those questions, get them answered. Make sure you understand them. Anything else on that at the table? Let's move to citizens' comments. Speaker needs to come to the podium, state your name and your city of residence. 3 minutes. Come on up, Danny.
My name is Denny Hughes, 500 Georgia Avenue. I brought you something to eat. I thought maybe it might sweeten you up a little bit. I don't have anything on the agenda except thank yous for running, thank you for winning, and we appreciate what you do. Thank you.
York, 113 6th Street, Mexico Beach, longtime citizen. My comment is, I didn't know what to expect, but you all have been so professional. I hope it continues on that way, and the audience has been so professional. Now, my complaint. Lately, I've been driving back and forth an awful lot and going by Parker Park. I don't know, because I have not been here that much, whether you plan to do something around where the waterway is. Like if we had just palm trees there or something, because that, in my opinion, is the ugliest place in town. And that piece of land is historic, and we should recognize it with something that beautifies it, have a plaque, have anything, because our first mayor lived there and our founder. So it would really be nice if you could find the funds to put up the trees and whatever pretty things you can put. I suggest palm trees on the outside all the way around. That at least would give the inside some decor. So if you'd think about that and consider it, I'd appreciate it. Oh, and also a free trash day where you pick up anything and everything.
Thank you, Ms. Willis. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Jerry Parker, Beacon of Bay County citizen journalist. I want to clarify something with you guys. I heard that y'all are giving training to someone on the financial information, that y'all are offering it to anyone at this table. However,
Go ahead.
however, you kept that information from the prior mayor? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And it starts.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's what, I'm not an answer.
Why can't you answer that?
I can answer it.
No, wait, Chris, if,
I can provide you with reports showing that the previous mayor had full access, going back to my predecessor. And I offered her training on several occasions, so.
I
That's
think
mine.
there's some discrepancies there. I think there's some huge discrepancies there.
It's not at this table.
We shall see.
yes, ma'am, come on up. Back, excuse me. Come on up. You go right after her, thank you.
Christy McElroy, Port St. Joe. On Saturday, we're having Earth Day celebration on Martin Luther King. Several speakers. It begins at 11 o'clock, ends at 5. Love to see you guys come out. It's all about, I'm doing a presentation on Save the Wetlands, our wetlands, and you'll have people from University of Florida also giving some pertinent information as it pertains to stormwater and infrastructure, whether it be natural. The lady talked about planting trees. That's a great idea. It's a way to help with the natural infrastructure when it comes to storm. So I just would like to open up an invitation, and I hope y'all will come over and see us.
Thank you. Mr. King?
Yes, Tim King, Kathy Lane. First of all, I want an apology from you, Mr. Wolf, for calling me a liar. You told me I made a false statement, and I can tell you on January 9th, January 9th, at 30-minute mark, you made it.
Marty, come on here. I've asked you
Am
twice.
I out
to
of
talk.
line? I'm telling the truth.
Yeah,
It's
this
not
is-
personal.
Mr. King, I'd like to talk to you if you'd listen for a
I
minute.
wouldn't talk to you, I wouldn't piss on you if you were
Oh, my
fired.
Sure, I want Chris Charles there. He came to my house and walked. And I, come on outside.
Gary Cox, 519 Maryland Boulevard. Mine's a safety concern. Maryland Boulevard is a racetrack.
Where
We've
was that?
already had the
This, Cox, where was that?
519 Maryland Boulevard.
Okay.
Maryland Boulevard is nothing but a racetrack. They're avoiding the stop signs. They're coming down Maryland Boulevard 70 miles an hour. We ever had one incident where the cops had to finally caught this kid. But they're coming down from the liquor store, I should say liquor, from the other end. Coming down Mexico Drive, as fast as they can go. They hang a left and right on Maryland just to avoid those stop signs. Now either we put speed bumps in the road, or we turn every road we got into a three-way stop. We're gonna have to slow these people down. Because from one end, from 5th Street to 7th Street, you can set a radar gun up, I guarantee they run 70 miles an hour. And that's every single day. So I have a big safety concern because when it comes summertime, and we still have tourists in, there's a lot of rentals there, and there's a lot of kids in that playground. They do stray off. If we have one killed, we got a big problem. But I've looked online, they do have those bumpers that you can put in the road. You can anchor them down with pins, drive them in, just something to slow these people down. Because there's nothing but a headache. I sit there on the front porch, it's just constant. They run the stop signs. Our cops are doing what they can do. We only got 2 running around. They can't be everywhere. If they were, they could sit right there and get all the tickets they want. But they got other places to watch. So take that into consideration. Do a study on it, whatever. We need to do something on those side streets because they're avoiding stop signs on 5th Street and 7th Street as much as they can.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Rob Cruz, Mexico Beach. Just want to say welcome to the two new members. And it was really nice seeing a 3-hour meeting accomplished in a half hour. This is like another first. It was. I hope they stay like this.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Alex Hogan, 7th Street, resident of Mexico Beach. I want to dovetail off of Mr. Cox here. Put 7th Street on that list of speeders.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, did you? Because that's terrible. I mean, we've got the stop signs, but the last one is, I think, on Maryland and 7th. And from that point on, 300 yards down there, it's a speedway. They come off at 15, speeding up to 98. So putting 7th on there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Thank you, appreciate your comments. Those ones that I wrote down, I'll look into, most likely take up with the city administrator. And if we need to get back to you on it, we will. Mayor, oh, excuse
I'm
me.
sorry, because
Yes, ma'am.
before you adjourn, are you fixing to adjourn?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mayor's comments.
Mayor's comments, I really don't have any comments, but I want to go back a little bit to the job description. We okayed the job description, I went through, I understand that. I just want to make sure we're going to take into account when we get the applications, we're going to take into account the things that Ms. Hamilton brought up. I wrote those down, and I want to make sure we have them for consideration. Okay, I'll get them back. Again, thanks to the council, thanks to the 2 new councilmen coming today and serving. And again, those that did not get elected, you ran, I hope you can find a place to get engaged. This is excellent to have this many people at this type of meeting. I know it can't happen all the time, especially on a morning meeting, but I do appreciate it. Council comments? Okay, let's
No, I'm good. Somewhere around.
Yeah, I'm happy.
On our last meeting when we were talking about the food truck on 37th Street, Chris, and there's several things on that piece of property which were not part of the permit. The permit was to have the food truck there, but there's the boat, there's 3 or 4 jet skis, there's a black trailer, there's a tractor, and all that, and you mentioned that you would probably talk to Hector about that, but he's still there.
Yeah, he's gonna move it off right now. Unfortunately, it's a slow time of the year, so he don't wanna put his boats and jet skis in the water and nobody be there to.
Where in the water will he be putting that?
The boat is gonna be down on Toucan's property. The jet skis, he's renting boat slips and gonna put them in the boat slips in the canal.
You're renting boat slips from the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then also, I just wanted to mention Arbor Day, in case we haven't mentioned that. That's gonna be Friday. Julie, did you wanna give a good input on that? That's gonna be Friday from 9 to 11.
Friday
We did
from
a-
9 to 11 at Parker Park. There's, 250 trees to give away to Mexico Beach citizens. It'll be just kind of like a drive-up thing. Just make sure you have an ID with you that shows your proof of residency. And there's 5 different kinds of trees that are going to be given out. And thank you to Miss Linda for working with the Port St. Joe Garden Club. I'm sorry. And they actually donated $250 towards the cost of the trees for the Mexico Beach citizens. So, and I know they do have a big plant sale that's coming up next weekend, this Saturday as well. So,
Where's the date, Miss Ann?
yeah, that was
It's gonna be
very
on
generous
8th Street.
of them
8th
to
Street
donate.
on White Church. Port St. Joe.
You are, what, 8th Street, or did you say?
Oh, the Garden Club is gonna have a plant, bake, and yard sale, and that's gonna be from 8 till about 2, and it's on 8th Street in Port St. Joe. And the Garden Club does contribute a lot to the different communities, like giving that donation that we did give, and
We also have
anything-
ukulele concert.
And the ukulele concert.
Starting at 11.
Yeah. I forgot that part.
All right, good deal. Mr. Tim?
Yeah, so, just wanna thank everyone. I'm honored to be selected as your councilman. My email is up. I will do my best to keep up with it. And I plan to add at great risk to myself, my phone number to that list. And I will take texts and phone calls during decent hours at least. But I do want your input, whether you voted for me or not. And I really mean this sincerely. I really want to bring this community back together. I want to see it like it was after Hurricane Michael. Not the city as a story, but I'd like to see that Mexico Beach strong attitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
And would you be comfortable if we mentioned about Janet?
No. Thank you.
Staff comments, city attorney, you have anything, sir?
Yes, sir. I just want to make sure that the 2 new council people and to remind the mayor and 2 previously sitting council people that you're subject to the sunshine law and you're going to get a lot of training over time, but the short story is don't talk to anybody else at this table about anything that's going to come before this council. That's just a good rule of thumb.
Thank you for that. City administrator, anything?
No, sir, I think I've talked enough tonight.
Can we adjourn? Have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you.